The Street Preacher. A couple of weeks ago, my friend and I were supposed to meet up at this coffee shop. We were going to discuss this mutual business idea that seemed like it might be promising. Like this might be an interesting thing to think about. Like this might be an interesting thing to pay attention to. But on the way there, I became sidetracked. I saw a crowd on the street while I was walking to the coffee shop. I stopped and saw this really energetic preacher. He was pretty tall and pretty skinny and had long white hair. It looked like his hair was bleached because his facial hair was still kind of salt and peppery. Because he seemed so interesting, I texted my friend to tell him about him and that I might be late. He texted me saying he'd already seen him and he was already here, among the crowd. The preacher was talking about the coming economic collapse. He was dropping in a ton of historical references about the Egyptians, the Assyrians, the Sumerians, the Babylonians, the Cretans, the Greeks, and the Romans, and the various kingdoms of the Middle Ages. He said that he used to be a linguist and a history professor, and he'd recently had a breakthrough in the translations of Linear A, one of the yet-to-be-deciphered ancient languages. He said the reason that language is undecipherable is that's how the architects intended it to be, because it uses advanced probability to determine the half-life of any society, based on various measurements at the start of a society. The population size, the caloric output, the square miles or acres of any society. And regardless of the type of government, the type of monetary system they used, the half-life is the same regardless. When he published his findings, they immediately ostracized him. He said they told him that if this got out, if people realized how close we were to absolute collapse, the entire system would shut down. People would stop going to work, people would stop obeying the law, people would stop paying their rent, and chaos would ensue. However, this isn't the reason they want to keep this secret. The elites in charge are perfectly happy with chaotically driven planetary bloodshed. They are perfectly happy with 99.99% of the world's population dying in utter agony and loneliness. The only reason they want to extend the illusion of normalcy is they want to extract as much wealth as they possibly can from the system, to create an ideal life for themselves first. Once the elites have amassed wealth and power as much as they want and they have enough security, they will pull the plug. Only then will they release his findings found in the ancient Cuneiform writings which predict the end. He has spent most of his time building his case. He even used some regression analysis from previous societies, showing the correlation was more than 80%. Just before he was about to announce exactly when the system will collapse, which he seemed to think was in months instead of years, the police swarmed the place. The police had a look of urgency on their faces, like they'd been given direct orders to shut him down. As soon as they reached him, they kept clubbing him till he was silent, until he stopped moving. When my friend and I finally got to the coffee shop to talk about our business, we decided to go forward anyway. After all, the guy did seem to be a lunatic. But then again, everybody is considered to be a lunatic until everybody decides to accept these ideas.